be, yeah, a little easier.
Oh, setting up your meeting for Facebook Live. Okay, let's see. It's not our fault we're late, it's technology.
What is late anyway?
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know if we're live right now. Oh, this is great. Well,
it says live on Facebook.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Okay. So, hi, people. Let me just check. Oh, it is. It is. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to minimize my screen because there's a lag and it's going to bother me. And I want to be with you, Kristen. Good afternoon. It's time for our afternoon pause. And I'm excited to be here this morning. And well, this afternoon. Oh my God. This is so here's a funny thing. Every time, a lot of time when I host things, sometimes I like to say, good morning. I don't know why. Maybe because I host workshops in the morning usually, and it just sounds really good morning. I don't know. There's a cool ring to it. So before I get into talking a little more, I want to introduce my guest today. I'm very happy that now the technology is working on our favor. Yay! Really, really happy to have Kristen on the live afternoon pause today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Jen.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, what a great day. It's sunny, so I had to be outside again and bring you to my roof. Being on a rooftop, it's actually really exciting to do in these times, even though I don't have a deck. And I keep saying the word time, which is the topic this week. And as much as yesterday I was talking about what is our concept of time and what we're doing with it and who we're being with our time, today I want to give ourselves that slowing down moment and the experience of perhaps having the ability to stopping the time. I'm finding that stopping time allows us to see more. And by stopping time, of course, you can stop your watch if you want and pretend the time is not clicking, right? But there's still a way of stopping time. And from my perspective, it's almost a way to do that. It's to be quiet and listen and to just take a deep breath. So it's really one way to stop time. And one of the reasons I'm excited to have Kristen today as my guest is that she has a really great perspective and also great studies on how we experience time. So she has a lot of great things to share, actually, even from a neuroscience perspective, because time is more than a concept, and it's important to understand how we as human beings experience time. So now, Kristen, my beautiful friend, again, I like to introduce her as my visionary dancer, choreographer, and healing artist, but she's so much more than that. She's just a beautiful friend, human being, radiant soul, holder of space of the world. I don't know. I love her. I love you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Kristen, tell us a little bit about you, because even though I like to brag about yourself, I know some people still don't know you, and I like for you to introduce yourself the way you do beautifully as well.
Sure. Thank you. Well, thank you again for having me here, Jen. Who I am is I am a dancer and a choreographer. I've been a healing arts practitioner for almost 20 years. And I am, what I do, let me say it differently. What I do is I reconnect people to both their bodies and their spirits in an experience of transformation. Now, I take my years of training as a professional dancer, as an artist, as a creative, and as someone who works with the healing arts and with energy, and also neuroscience and body-brain connection. And I do that in now a very creative exploration, something I created called LîLa, which means divine play in Sanskrit. And it's about reclaiming and healing through, for example, the chakra energy system from the Indian Ayurvedic tradition, from the meridians and energy points from Chinese medicine acupuncture system, which I practiced and taught for a long time, acupressure in Chinese medicine philosophy, and also from meditation, which I've been practicing for almost 20 years, and I've been teaching for about 15, particularly rooted in the Zen tradition. So I like to see myself as someone who, ideally, I connect people with something deeper inside themselves that is wanting to feel more grounded and more peaceful, and also more fully alive and self-expressed. A lot of what I do now is I'm connecting, especially women, with their innate truth and their passion, so that they feel excited when they wake up in the morning and get out of bed, especially right now with everything that we're dealing with.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I love what you're doing with connecting with people in these live segments, because I think the more positive, high vibration engagement, especially with each other, we can create virtually, the healthier and the happier and the more powerful we are going through this time of incredible challenge and incredible change.
Absolutely. And thank you for that. Thank you for the acknowledgement, and also thank you for the work we're doing. One of the things I will add about Kristen is that she is her work. And from day one that I remember meeting her, how many years was that ago? I don't even remember. But one of the things I've always loved about them and noticed about Kristen, huh? You what?
I think it's about 10, probably.
10? Oh my God.
It's not more.
If not more. We probably met in, spiritual, other dimensional world too. But she always has a way of explaining her work and grounding it in what we know. I guess it's bottom lineman. It's one of your strengths, but it's really founded in your own practice, your own study, your knowledge. And it's so clear every time you explain something. And I'm like, oh, wow, it's really awesome. So thank you for that too.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I believe, it's impactful and it's meaning to people if you can apply it to your everyday life. It's not that, okay, esoteric principles and metaphysics, for example, it's wonderful and all that, but if you can't ground it in your own sense and experience of reality, it's not going to be very impactful. And and that's one of the things I really love to do and I'm passionate about, is how things get translated into our everyday experiences, because that's where it makes the difference.
yeah, awesome. Kristen has a little bit of an exercise for us also today. So I'm going to give you the stage, because that's why I'm here today for you. Well, for all of us, but okay. I want to give it your stage from my roof.
Okay. So
and your beautiful studio.
Beautiful. Oh, thank you. So I wanted to talk about time, and then lead you through just a short minute or so experience of shifting your experience of time through a meditation awareness practice. So the first thing I want to say about time, Jen, you pointed to this beautifully, is that time is really a construct. And our relationship to it is a context. So, for example, as adults, mostly our relationship to time is linear. We tend to think in terms of past, the present, the future, cause and effect. And we mostly take it for granted that this is a very Western society way of thinking. Compared to, for example, like Eastern philosophy and millennia, centuries ago, it wasn't necessarily how people interpreted and lived with time. It also has to do with in the brain, this phenomenon of the left cerebral hemisphere versus the right. Now they work together, but the left cerebral hemisphere is very much about the logical and the linear. So it's how we perceive, again, time as a linear cause and effect. And you see the difference, for example, with children, that children tend to be much more right cerebral hemisphere dominant. So they be and act and play in the moment. Their concept of time is very different than ours. Like if they say like, well, how long is it until Christmas? How long is it until my birthday? And you say like, right. Oh, it's 6 months away. It's a long time away. And then like 2 minutes later, is it time yet? Like they have no concept of like what 6 months is. So
it's a good way to
shifts
be.
It about yeah, and it is. And the great thing about this is, as adults, if you've ever had the experience where you lose time because you're so in the moment in an activity you love, for example, 3 hours can seem like 2 minutes. or a couple minutes can seem like an hour because you're so in the zone. That's timelessness. And
That's
it's
right.
very much the right cerebral hemisphere, which is the big picture. It's very sensory. It's very much about our inner vision. It is the big picture. It's the eternal. So in this particular time, I think it's really important to get connected to that eternal, because our minds are so much in the what if right now. It's a lot of overthinking, and it's very much about like, I'm worried about this, I'm anxious about this. And you may notice your mind just keeps going and going, because again, it's like, this is the cause. What are the effects of all this going to be? So this exercise, which we'll now start, is a little, hopefully, stepping back from that as a way to give you power. So how we're going to do this is I recommend that whatever you have, like, just put it to the side as you're watching this. And then either if you're sitting or standing, just feel really comfortable in however you're situated. So for example, if you're sitting, try to feel, even if you're sitting, feel your feet against the floor or the ground or the earth. Or if you're standing, the same thing. And then I recommend you close your eyes. And
Sitting
this exercise, sitting cross-legged is totally perfect. And with that, I really want you to feel that your pelvis, the bottom of your pelvis, what's called your sits bones, which are like the little places where you rest if you sit up tall, that you feel them nice and grounded as well. So either that or your feet, whatever is connected to the surface beneath you, whether it's the floor, the chair, the ground, you have a connection with that. That's the first thing. And now with the eyes closed, this is called just one breath. Take a nice breath in. And now exhale. Let your shoulders relax. Let the space between your eyebrows relax. Check in with your body. Notice if you're holding any tension anywhere. Just let the chest soften, the ribs maybe soften. Relax. And then again, notice, take another breath in. Have any external stimuli, sound, just include that. Allowing whatever else is there to be there. And again, just one breath in. Notice the time, the path of the inhale. Can you allow your belly to expand? And then let the belly fall as you exhale. And now this time as you breathe in, notice the quality of the air as you breathe it in. Is it silky or smooth, soft, or maybe a little coarse? Continuous, broken. And then the same thing as you exhale. As you continue to breathe in and out, just the micro level of noticing, almost as if you could follow it with a sensation internally and your imagination or your mind's eye, drawing it in. Exhale, let it out. Just this. Draw it in. Exhale, let it go. More. See if you can let the belly really fill up like a balloon. as you breathe in. And then exhale, let the belly deflate as you exhale out. Exhale, let it go. And then gently start to float your eye back open. Notice.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I'm curious, in doing this, your experience of, we talk about, especially in like meditation practice or ideas about it, this thing about being present and mindful. So really just two kind of different ways to say just one thing. In this moment, just this one thing. This is all my attention needs to notice. And then just this one thing.
Mm.
And it can be breathing. It can be putting your hands in water. Sharon Salzberg, who's a very well-known, extraordinary meditation teacher and lecturer, she was talking about, she did this guided experience for the Rubin Museum in New York City. And she talked about that, like just the putting your hands in water and noticing the experience, of just that. That's really, I think that is the access to the eternal.
Wow.
Whatever. Mm-hmm.
What I hear in that, well, when you ask the question one word, and I want you to also at home or wherever you are at home right now, to write in the comment, what is the word that showed up for you? I cannot see my Facebook Live, even though we're live right now, but please write down what word showed up for you. So what I'm hearing that for me was feel, because as we were doing the breathing and the meditation, then I got hyper conscious of the wind, and it was blowing one way and then blowing the other way. And I'm like, oh no, then probably people are hearing wind in there. I'm like, okay, never mind. Be in the present moment. It's supposed to be that way. And now that it's over, it's not windy anymore. So, it's like the nature is also answering our questions when we pay attention. So I like that you're asking the one word, and also, it could be just putting your hands in water. I love the feeling of water. It could be so simple. Mm-hmm. It's sensory. Mm-hmm. That's the word that's coming out. Sensory.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Because consider sensory is about being present to exactly what you're feeling in any given moment. Mm. That's so much of, now what we do in LîLa. It's all about refining sensory. It's why I dance. It's why I've always danced.
Please keep doing so.
I will, for sure. And having said that, like for any one of us, it is whatever it is that has us come back home into our sensory, into the physical. Because I always say, it's the physical in which we experience reality. We all have this shared humanity reality of we're born into a body, and the body can feel, and it can smell, and it can taste, and it can hear, and it can see, right? Or presumably like, any or all or most of those things. So it's such a gift as human beings, especially right now, since things have become so the micro of this social distancing. It's a time to, yes, we're within in our worlds, but in terms of our sensory, we can really refine and expand because we don't have to censor so much. We censor, we deaden a lot of our sensory because we need it as a function to when we're out in the world and there's so much noise. We've been talking about that a lot, about like the noise,
so true,
but like stimuli. So it's an oversensory experience. So now I think is really a time that the sensory can be healed and find.
So what would be your word of advice or wisdom after we've done this practice of experiencing time and choosing a word to continue that pausing moment throughout the rest of the day today?
I'm a big believer that it's about repetition. It's not that, if you, something as simple as put a little reminder in your phone, let's say for 5 o'clock today or something, or, set it on repeat, but just create a little reminder just to take the 2 minutes and start doing it regularly, daily or twice daily or whatever. But put a little structure for yourself that has you remember, because the reality is we won't remember.
Yeah. No, because
like,
we're going to the next thing.
Yeah, because we're constantly things are coming in and they're going out, and that's not a bad thing. But in terms of wanting it to stick so that it starts to make a difference and really help you if you see value in this, it's about reinforcing it. It's like building a muscle. So I would say, put it on your schedule. It sounds silly, but it works in my experience. If I have it in, even if I don't do it, then I'm like, oh, I had it there and I didn't do it at 5 o'clock. Okay, let me do it at 8 o'clock, or let me do it again for tomorrow. But put it in some reality. Write it down. Put it in your organizer. Set an alarm. Something. Bookmark this video. Whatever, any of those things, because the reality is, as much as we have intentions, it's the taking the action that has the intention stay alive and continue to stay alive for us. And that's really all it is. It's that simple and it's that challenging at the same time.
Oh, it is.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's also giving us the opportunity to create a new behavior that we may not have. Like I always find, and I say that a lot in a lot of contexts, that we tend to try to find complicated solution for something that is really simple. So just that one thing is very simple, but once it's integrated, then you won't have to think about it anymore.
Exactly.
It's simple.
Exactly.
Thank you for simplicity. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah,
It was amazing to have you today.
That's
I know we can talk for like ever and ever.
for another
Maybe we should do another one. I know. Yeah, we'll do another time. We'll create something. Why not? Like, what are there things you have to do? No, I'm going out. I'm kidding. I wish. my calendar is so full right now. Oh, thank you so much, Kristen. So we'll do that again on another topic, because we can never practice enough. And you mentioned that word. It's all about practice and repetition. So thank you for taking your time today to be with us on this live.
You're welcome.
And you at home, see you tomorrow, and stay safe and stay home. Bye. Let me end this. Oh, wow. This technology thing. And